Bonjour, peeps. Hi, this is Neshi. Welcome to Star Nation's Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream based on the card draw that I do in the morning. And just to have a spiritual conversation about those cards, I also share a quote about the card draw on our Instagram account. So this is kind of like the live stream here is kind of like the backstory to those cards. And actually, it's a time for us to be able to get together and hang out with like-minded people, like-hearted people, and have a spiritual conversation. And also, we share stuff, what's going on in our personal lives and what's going on with you, and what beverage did you bring this afternoon, that kind of thing. It's fun to be together. Let's just put it that way. So today is Saturday, November 3rd. I live in the northwestern part of Wisconsin, about an hour east of the Mississippi. And I have to say that we have a cloudy day, and we're supposed to be getting rain later tonight. Which means that eventually, the rain is going to turn into snow at some point. They're predicting snow for sometime the early part of next week, this coming week. So, yeah, I live in Wisconsin. So, snow is a common thing. We know it's coming, and we know it's coming. It's not a surprise. Hey, Rochelle Lottie's in the chat. Hello, Rochelle. Good afternoon to you too. Always nice to see you in the chat. So today's Saturday, and usually in my neighborhood on Saturdays, it's a very busy day. People are doing yard work, and it's the day that everybody goes to the they don't call them dumps anymore. What do they call them? Reclamation centers, that kind of stuff. Do their recycling, take their garbage in, and I tell you what, I don't know about you in your neighborhood, but that's the place to be to get what's going on in town, or what's going on in your township, because everybody who goes there, belongs to the township, and so what's going on and that sort of thing, and with this upcoming election on the 6th, it's quite the buzz over there. Paul said it was kind of hard just to get out of there without causing too much of a stir about politics. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Rochelle. She says it's always fun listening to you. Well, good. I enjoy it too. And Jackie's here with us. Good afternoon, Jackie. And Elise Miller just joined us. Hello, Elise. So Rochelle says, went to early lunch with Elise. You guys did. How fun is that? Geez, if I lived closer, we could do that, huh? That'd be fun. So I don't have coffee. I have herbal tea, lemon balm, I think it is. It was a toss-up between that or chamomile, because I'm working on the magazine, and sometimes coffee just makes me it's too jittery. I want to be calmer when I'm working on the magazine. And so I started drinking herbal tea this morning. The message on the tea bag thing is plant kindness and gather love. I like that. Plant kindness and gather love. Why not? Why not? I wonder whoever thought of putting those messages on the tea bag paper. Whoever did that, they were brilliant. They come up with a lot of good ones, don't they? Hello, good afternoon, Elise. Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys had some fun, Elise and Rochelle, going out to lunch together, an early lunch. That's good stuff. And you got to do that every once in a while. You need to have some fun too, right? Mm-hmm. That's what Paul and I tried to do on, I think it was Wednesday. Got to be a little bit of a crunch though, because he wanted to stop in at a bakery that's on the way home. It's called Linda's Bakery in West Salem. And so we had to stop in there, and I spent a little bit too much time in there, and so we were kind of cutting it close for the live stream that afternoon. But yeah, that was fun. It's just to get out and do something different, right? Right. So the card draw for this afternoon, it was very interesting. We got a card that we haven't received before. And so it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see what this all means for us, right? Elise says, Panera bread is the best. Ask Rochelle about the goodie she got. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what'd you get, Rochelle? And oh my goodness, Julie Shumway Hill is in the house. Hey, good afternoon, Julie. Happy birthday, right? Your birthday was it yesterday or is it today? I forget. I saw it on Facebook. I sent you a little something. Yeah, a little something to say happy birthday to you. I didn't know that your birthday was in November. I didn't know that. Yeah. Mine's in December. Mine's on the 6th of December. Yours is what, on November 2nd or something like that? So not quite a month apart, right? So here is the first card for the draw. Direction Guardian. Choose your path. And look at the artwork on this card. Isn't that fantastic? You know? And I always wondered, the person that's depicted here, I wonder if that's what Kyle Gray looks like. I wonder. I also like looking in the background of these cards because you can see there's sacred geometry right here and right here. Those are tetrahedrons, right? And the animals that are on this card, I bet you anything they symbolize the 4 directions, right? You know, in each culture that has a wheel, a medicine wheel, if you will, a sacred hoop is another word for it, another phrase for it. You know, every culture has animals that they place on the wheel, right? Along with the directions and other things like plants and that sort of thing. But, and every culture that has a wheel, they have different items in those directions. And when you start studying medicine wheel, you're going to find that there's just not one, especially here in the United States on Turtle Island. We have 300 and used to be 67. I think it's like 508 now. It could be 580 now. Recognized tribal nations, native nations in the United States. And there's variations within those tribal nations of what the medicine wheel contains and the belief around it, right? And when I first started paying attention to those differences and similarities, I realized that the differences really was about geography and location, and where certain things were placed, right, on the wheel. And so it's not that, if you look at the medicine wheel and you think, oh my God, it's in contradiction. How can that be? That's because of the location, I do believe. And so when you're starting to read items about the medicine wheel, is to keep that in mind. They're not, just because one is different from the other doesn't mean that there's a right one and a wrong one. It's just in the interpretation and their physical location, right? Yeah. For instance, here in east of the Mississippi, in the Woodland Native Indians, they were used to be called Native Americans. East of the Mississippi, we wouldn't necessarily even use stones to indicate the medicine wheel. Why? Is because most times, especially when you go back far enough in the generations, the landscape here looked quite different. Prior to European settlement, when that started happening, a lot of trees were cut. And prior to that, it was very dense forest. So you wouldn't necessarily even have enough space sometimes to place the stones in the circle. Now, whether they did that in meadows and fields, that's another thing. But we had a lot of woods, a lot of forest here. And so a lot of times what they did was they indicated by trees, by marker trees, the directions, the cardinal directions, right? So if you do the study of the medicine wheel, just keep that in mind. And it also depends, which nation you choose to study, right? Julie says, good afternoon today. Yeah. November 3rd, my 58th. Yeah. Yeah, mine's coming up in December. Who would have known, right, Julie? Who would have known back in the day? Julie and I went to school together, elementary school all the way through high school. And yeah, who would have known, right? When we were out on the playground, that would be sitting here in 2018 doing the live stream shows, the live stream and then being in the chat room, right? Who would have known? And Jolene Butler's here too. Good afternoon, Jolene. It's good to see you guys in the chat. Elise said, you're just a kid, Julie. Rachel said, happy birthday to Julie. And Julie's saying thank you for all the birthday wishes. Yeah. Well, you got to celebrate those birthdays, right? Yeah. And another year on the medicine wheel. Another year in the circle. All right, so here's that first card, Direction Guardian. Choose your path. And it's about the directions. And so we're going to take a look at the meaning that Kyle Gray, who is the author of this deck of cards, and it's the Angels and Ancestors deck, Oracle deck that we're using. I can show you the box top. I like this deck. I really do. There it is. I actually got mine from Amazon.com. It's brand new. It was published in 2018 and released in September. Yeah, I had to pre-order mine. So I really like it. I like it a lot. I guess Kyle Gray has like 3 other decks out, something like that. I don't know anything about those. I didn't even know Kyle Gray existed before August. So, but I like this deck a lot. All right, so the Direction Guardian. The message is connect with your deepest desires, then choose the path that will make your heart and soul sing. Make your heart and soul sing. Yeah. So choose your path. Choose your path. So there we are again, because yesterday and the day before we were talking about our desires, what we want in our life, what we need in our life. 2 different things, want and need, right? And how to create those, manifest those in, and facing the fears. I think that was yesterday's. Face your fears, because when you face your fears, you're also finding your desires. Because many times our fears block our desires, right? Stop it. Kind of like self-sabotaging in a way. Hey, Stephanie's here too. Hello, Stephanie. She's wishing Julie a happy birthday as well. In this part in the message that says, choose the path that will make your heart and soul sing. Years ago, I want to say it was early 2000s, probably 2001, 2002, something like that. I was given this phrase by my spiritual team. It was early morning. It was one of those things that were between awake and asleep. I wasn't quite asleep, wasn't quite awake, and I could hear somebody talking to me, and it's like, "What did you say? Say that again." And they would say it. They would say it fast. They'd say it slow. They would say it loud. They'd whisper it, and it was Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song. Rainbow 12 Gifts in a Song. And they said it like that so that I would remember it, and that I needed to start looking into that phrase, and so my quest started right with that phrase, and that last piece of the phrase and a song is really about our vibration. That when we do our healing work, when we start facing our fears and cleaning up the debris and the interferences and the blocks to our gifts that we came in with, that includes our intuition. When we start clearing and healing so that we can use our gifts with more consciousness, we're more awake, right? Is that we get closer and closer to our original vibration that we came in with, that as a spirit, as a soul that we came in with. And that's our song. And so we have a very unique vibration, a very unique signature that the Creator recognizes, right? And others recognize. And so when I read this about that will make your heart and soul sing, in other words, that our soul is in tune. It is in a vibration that's closest to when we came in. Yeah. And when you put all of our songs together, and I mean everybody, every two-legged, every four-legged, every relative, when you put us all together, we sound like a choir. Yeah. Gorgeous. There is a recording. I don't know if you guys have heard that recording. I've shared it a few times on my different shows. And that is about crickets and the sound of crickets that is slowed down to the heartbeat of human. And it sounds like a choir, the crickets, when we do that. And so it was a way to show us what the vibration sounds like together. Yeah, it's beautiful. Beautiful. Julie's saying, it's a beautiful deck. I also have his Keeper of the Light deck. I listened to his radio show on Hay House Radio. He has a cute Scottish accent. Yeah, he lives in Glasgow, Scotland. And Hay House Radio, huh? Gonna have to tune into that and see what that. There is something about that accent, that Scottish accent, also the Irish accent. When I was in Ireland the last time, I was joking around, and I was saying, what all I want to do is find some Irish guy that's got a really nice sounding voice, like a radio voice, And I don't care what he reads. He could read the telephone book for all I care. We're going to record him, so we could play that back with that accent, Yeah. So that's great. So you really like his other book, Keeper of the Light deck, huh? All right. I'm going to have to look into that. Maybe we'll do that one after the new year, maybe. I don't know. It depends on how long we're going to stay with this deck, but maybe we'll look into that one. Thanks for sharing that, Julie. Appreciate that. Yeah, and Elise is asking Julie when Kyle's show is on. Hello, Ruby McLennan. It's good to see you in the chat. And Kyle Gray's show on Hay House is on Mondays at 11 a.m. Central. So that's noon on Monday for those on the Eastern time zone. Elise, I just got a live video interrupted and lost you. That's too bad. What the heck? I know. It's the fun part of electronics, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so this is what Kyle has to say about the card that we got. This is the first one for the energy that's important for us to know about today. The Direction Guardian. Choose your path. Okay. So this is what Kyle has to say about it. He says the Direction Guardian card represents the angels and the directions. These amazing angels are the ones who come to us when we're at crossroads and don't know which way to go, when we're unsure of what is right for us or of the bigger picture. Well, I would venture a guess, and I think it would be pretty good, is that all of us have been in that position at least once, that we're at a crossroads and we don't know which way to go, which path to select. Yeah. And sometimes it depends on what's going on at the time. If you're going through the dark night of your soul kind of situation, it would be hard to see the bigger picture. That would be a real challenge, because when you're in that kind of frequency, the dark night of the soul, we're usually pretty emotional. And when we're out of balance with our emotions, it's hard to hear our spiritual guidance. Yeah. Those are the times when we need to reach out to a friend, whether that friend is a psychic medium, or if that friend is does tarot readings or divination cards, or they're really good listeners and they got good intuition, they're grounded, clear and balanced. Somebody can be that connection for you to your spiritual team, and to get some insight, right? So you can see the bigger picture, or sense it at least. Whoops, hit my table. And when we're at those crossroads, and we can't decide, right? Even if you're not going through the dark night of the soul, and you're at those crossroads and you don't know, sometimes you feel like you don't have enough information, or maybe you have way too much information and your head is just spinning, and you're stuck. You can't make a decision because it's just overwhelming, right? And so which way do you go? It's kind of like the scarecrow, right? In The Wizard of Oz. You go that way. Yeah. I've been there, especially when early in my life, like 20s and 30s. Yeah, which way to go? I can remember we're still living near the Dells, Wisconsin Dells, living next door to my parents. It was our very first home Paul and I bought together, and it was a mobile home. And he was gone a lot, because he was in the National Guard, and he was gone a lot. And so I remember sitting at my kitchen table, and I was thinking, there's got to be more to life than waking up, going to work, coming home, and doing it again and again and again. There's got to be more to it. Yeah. And so I sat and I was writing out my wish list, things that I wish I could do. Setting aside age, setting aside time and money, setting those to the side. I didn't say dismiss them. I just kind of moved them over a little bit, and sat and wrote that list out. And I kept that list. And back in 1999, when I graduated with my master's degree, I took the list out, and that was the last thing to check off. That list. And many times I was at a crossroad, trying, looking at that list and saying, do I really want to do this? Is this really something I'm supposed to be doing? But the bottom line is that I was looking for something that was more, right? And technically, that's probably when I started searching for my spiritual path, to be conscious of it, not just do things by rote. So when we're at those crossroads, the best thing we can do is get grounded to Grandmother Earth, breathe, nice deep breaths, and so that we're calmer, right? And asking our spiritual team to assist us. I want to make this decision, and which direction is for my highest good, because I'm working on my soul contract. And then listening to the guidance. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, that they're going to tell you in that moment. They might, but it could take a few days for them to actually show you. And sometimes that's because we're not paying attention. It's kind of like my 3-month-old puppy. It's like he's got his attention here, and then 2 seconds later it's over there, and sometimes we do that. Elise, I don't know what it is. It's got to be your internet connection. She says, once again, you are gone. Yeah, It's probably your internet connection. And also maybe you have more windows open and taking up more data space. You might want to close down a few windows if you have a lot open. And you were doing a lot of editing. So you might have a lot in your clipboard, in your buffer memory. Yeah. And so if you restart, that might kick everything out and you can start clean. That could be it. Rochelle saying, I have had many, many crossroads in my life. I know. Me too. Me too. I've got experience. She says, Rochelle says, I feel like that now. Is this all there is to life? Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Don't turn away from that, Rochelle. Don't dismiss that feeling, that sensing that, because that's your soul saying, we've got more to do. You know? Yep. Don't dismiss it. You're probably onto something big. Who knows? Who knows? All right. So the rest of what Kyle says about this card. The Direction Guardian card refers to the vision of the Hebrew prophet Ezekiel, who is said to have seen an angel with 4 different faces. One was a cherub, a child, one was a bull, one was a lion, and one was an eagle. These 4 faces show the angels can appear in many guises and guide us in many different directions, but always for our highest good. True. That's very true. And I think that there's a good rule of thumb when it comes to spiritual guidance, is that if it doesn't feel right, then ask the being that's giving you that guidance if they can tell you the truth on that. There's a universal law that says that when you ask them to speak the truth, they must speak the truth. So if they say, no, I can't, then you tell them to go away, right? Tell them to go away, because that's not for my highest good. And if they won't leave, then you call in the bigger guns. You call in, your bodyguards in spirit and have them escorted away, whether that's Archangel Michael or if that's somebody that's on your spiritual team that's there for your protection, because we all have them. And you just call them in and you have them escorted out. They're kind of like your bouncers. And if the message that they're giving you, the information that they're giving you, isn't kind and loving, then they're not of the light. They're not of a high enough vibration to actually help you. And so those you tell to leave. You don't ask them to leave. You tell them to leave, right? Because you're setting a boundary. And so you tell them to leave. And if they don't leave, then you ask your escorts, your bouncers to come in to take them out. Show them the door. Yeah. Because when we're at crossroads, a lot of times we get frustrated and we get scared and we have a certain fear level running through us, right? And we're vulnerable at that point. And so you want to, having your protection up is a good thing, no matter what, no matter when, is to have your protective field up. However you learned how to do that, that's always a good thing. Yeah, when we're at those crossroads. But it is good to call to your spiritual team and ask them for help. Make sure that you're calling for your spiritual team, all of them, not just a couple, because we all have this. We have thousands sometimes that are helping us, right? We might not know all their names and how they're associated to us, or if they were in a past life with us. We may not know all of their details, the minutiae, because it's not really important. What's important is that they're here to help you. And so when you call in the whole gang, because you don't know, with your human 2-legged mental mind, you don't know which one of them has the most experience and the most ability to show you what's the next best step. right? So call them all in, ask them all the same question. Is what's my next best step? I'm at these crossroads and I want to know what is going to be my best decision. I want to see the bigger picture in both cases so I can make a good decision, right? Yeah. Yeah, you're learning, you're applying what you already know, and that is you are steering the ship. You're the one who's having the physical experience. You're the one who is completing your soul contract. And so, you're the one who is making the decisions. Yeah, your spiritual team, they can make suggestions and they can tell you the information, but it's still up to you to make that decision. It's up to you to ground it to the earth plane. Yeah. Yep. And Lisa's saying, that's it, a journey, a learning experience. Exactly. Exactly. And Rochelle's saying, I just wish the spirits would give me a hint. Well, this is going to be interesting because I was just asked to do something. Hold on. I've never done this on camera before, but I do use my pendulum. I do. I use it to ask yes and no questions about things that I need confirmation on, right? Is that, okay, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm thinking, or, for myself, right? And so I do my dowsing to get confirmation and validation. When I douse for others, I try not to do future stuff because there's so many variables that could change, and that the answer that we got could change because you made a different choice, right? All right. So, but I would like to douse for you, Rochelle. If it's okay with you, let me know. Okay, if it's yes or no, it's all right to douse for you. Because as I was sitting here, I was thinking, oh, sure. I bet you anything they have, Rochelle. Somehow you might have missed it, though. That was the feeling I had. And yeah, it was like, get your pendulum. It's like, really? All right. We'll see how this goes. I have a paddle boat. Elise, and patience, Rochelle, I'm the same way. I want to know. I think there's an element to that for all of us because humans are just like that. Especially here in the West, we have very little patience. We think it's a drive-through life. It's like we want it now, right? So while I'm waiting for Rochelle's reply on if I have her permission to douse for her, okay? I'm going to finish up Kyle's information here. He says, your path isn't set in stone, and your angels and guides have no expectations for you, nor should you have any for yourself. There are many directions you can take. None of them are wrong, as they all hold perfect opportunities to grow and to learn. But life is to be enjoyed and savored. So if you know that there's a decision to be made, and particularly if you are feeling indecisive, choose the path you know is going to make you light up, and choose it with your heart. I like that. And choose it with your heart. Choose the path that's going to make you light up. So you're choosing with your heart, with your soul. You're allowing your soul to lead. That's what that says to me. And sometimes our mental mind, our analytical mind, gets us to the point that we're self-doubting, right? We make the decision and then it's, oh yeah, but what about this? And then what about that? And then you're projecting into the future, what if it happens this way or that way? Yeah. Listen to it all, but you're listening, allowing your soul to lead. And so when your soul leads, it leads you to experiences where you can use your tools and your gifts, and it does light you up. Right. Hey, Mary Anderson Fry's with us. Good afternoon, Mary. It's good, always good to have you in the house. And Rochelle has given me permission to douse for her. Okay. So get my dowsing voice on. All right, I'm going to check with my pendulum. Is this pendulum sufficiently clear to douse with? Okay, thank you. And is it in the highest good that I douse for Rochelle M. Latte? Yes. Okay, thank you. And should we check this one? Am I worthy to douse today? Yes, that's always a good thing to see. There's a yes on that. Thank you. All right, so the question I have is, has Rochelle's spiritual team given her a hint at which direction to take that she says she's at these crossroads? I get a yes. That you've already received hints, and that's a big yes. Yes. All right, so since they've given you the hints already, maybe what you need to do, Rochelle, is talk to your team and ask them to give you the information again and to please make it really noticeable, very noticeable, so that you will receive it when they give it to you. Okay, I don't use don't use words like don't. It doesn't make any sense. You want to ask in a way that you're not using negative words. Okay, so this is what you don't want to say. I don't want to miss it. Make it really clear and make it really noticeable so I don't miss it. Okay, so because the universe, spirit, doesn't hear negative words. So what you're saying, take away the don't word, delete that word. And so you're saying, so I miss it. Okay, so this is a good practice to choose your words wisely, right? To slow down, really consider what you want, and phrase it in a positive way. Asking your spiritual team to show you information, to bring that information to you, so you can make the best choice for your highest good, right? At this crossroad, whatever that is. Hopefully it's helpful because you have received the hints. Julie is saying, many times I only see the guidance I've been given in hindsight. I'd like to be more open to more real-time understanding that messages are coming through. Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Julie, because I think we've all experienced that, right? And what do they say? Hindsight's 2020. Now, I have to say that sometimes the information really is meant for us to see in hindsight, so that maybe it was a missing piece in the puzzle, in that bigger picture. And when we sit back to reflect on it, we say, oh, that's what that was for, right? Oh, okay, now I got that. Because we're never going to forget that again. We're never going to say, I don't remember, I forgot that, I didn't remember that. And the way Spirit brought it to us was so that it would be in our memory, in our long-term memory, right? Sometimes that happens. Other times we are not focused on it, or we second guess ourselves. We second guess them. Yeah, and sometimes it is, depending on what it is, that we do have interference. It's kind of like, do you remember in the old days when we had AM, FM radios and you had to tune it, with the dial? Remember that? It's kind of like that. that when you have interference, it could be coming from an outside entity, that is trying to block you from getting to your next step on your path. Because why? Because your light's going to get a lot brighter. Yeah. You're going to be a much more powerful being, right? That you're going to remember that you are that powerful being. And other times, we're the ones that are sabotaging ourselves because being that powerful being, either we think, oh, that's not me, can't be me. I'm just Julie. I used to say that. I'm just Neshi. I'm just Yvette, I'm just like average. And my husband will look at me and goes, you've never been average. Stop that. And so sometimes that occurs. Yeah. And and it could be the littlest thing too, Julie. It could be you're not hydrated. Or we have our connection to spirit is much stronger when we're hydrated, right? Because it's all energy. And so when we're dehydrated, that it's harder to tune in the information. Yeah. Rochelle says, I need to remember to put in my hearing aids when I meditate. That's no, I'm going to disagree. I know you're teasing, but I'm going to disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because my mom has double hearing aids, right? When she takes out her hearing aids, she doesn't hear anything. And yet, when she doesn't have her hearing aids in, that's when she hears and sees spirit much more often. Mm-hmm. And she can't say to me, oh, and try to rationalize it away, right? Because she didn't have her hearing aids in. There's no way she would have heard it if it was in the physical world. Mm-hmm. So I know that you were teasing about that, but kind of think about that one a little bit. All right. And Elise says, have to go. Really good show. Hugs to you all. All right. So glad you could be with us for a while, Elise. I appreciate that. And I will let you know about that thing. All right. Cindy says, hi. Hey, Cindy Lynn's in the house. Hi, stopped in to say hi and wishing you all a good weekend off to a birthday. Yes, and happy birthday to you too, Cindy Lynn. It's her birthday too. And yes, Rochelle, water. Water. I know that you don't like drinking water. You can put something in it other than alcohol. You can put in lime or lemon, peppermint. You could drink herbal tea, not coffee. Get that extra, to get that hydration up. All right, I got to keep moving. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time here. So that was the first card, okay? Direction Guardian. Choose your path. Choose your path. Here's the second card to help us understand that first card better. Animal Guardian. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. I like that. All right. So here's the message. Trust the power animal spirit within. Learn more about yourself and your talents. The Animal Guardian is the card that represents the angels of the animal kingdom. Animals are angels of nature who have incredible lessons to offer and medicine that can help support you on your spiritual journey and help you survive some of your greatest challenges. When you connect with the energies of animals, you can learn a lot about yourself and the earth. You also have instinctive animal energy within that can direct you towards everything you need and more. The Animal Guardian card depicts a tribal angel being held and supported by her animals. She has love for them and they have love for her, demonstrating how incredibly connected nature is within the spiritual realms. You see that? So there's just so much in this particular message. in regard to that first card, direction, right? Okay, two things that come up. One is that nature, all our relatives out there, we have to have a certain awareness about our environment when we're out in the world, even in your own house, okay? Because those in nature will help us understand the energy that's around us, giving us those hints, those synchronicities. So when we see animals in our daily life, if you see a fox, if you see a hawk or an eagle or a deer, you see a skunk, you see ants in your house, or God forbid you have a mouse in the house, all right? All of that is bringing you information, giving you those hints. Now, yes, you can look them up in a book like Animals Speak, Ted Andrews. Yes, you can. I have his books and I've used them. But also use what you know about that animal, if you know anything about them, is to take that into consideration. And also, when you're doing your research on them, is also to look up the information about that particular animal, like from a Department of Natural Resources kind of research. You want to look at their habitat. You want to look at how and when they hunt. When do they have their babies? Who takes care of the babies? You want to know about them, okay? Especially if they keep showing up all the time. That means that animal is very connected to you, energetically connected to you. And you could say that it's a power animal. It possibly could be your birth totem or a totem that means something to you. And so we need to take the information that they're giving us into consideration when we're making our decisions, and what they mean to you personally. We'll take snake for instance, okay? There's a lot of people who have a fear of snakes. And you have to understand your fear about them. And what does that have to do with the decisions that you're making? Or if you don't have a fear about them and you're okay with them, then you have to look at, where did you see them? What color were they? Were they moving away from you or coming towards you? You have to look at the situation and what they mean to you, right? Yeah. So that's when they are presenting themselves to you. And I have to tell you that that's something I did learn from my mom, is that especially when we're seeing an eagle, and I do it to all the animals, not just the eagle, but what she taught me about when you see an eagle is to stop in that moment and thank them for coming to you, and ask them if they have a message for you. And also in that pause is to notice, what were you thinking about, and how were you feeling at the moment that you saw that eagle? Because those two things are connected. Okay. And so I figured that if the eagle does that for us, then everybody else, all the other animals can too. So I do it to all of them whenever they come to me. Yeah. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat. Julie saying, happy birthday to Cindy Lynn, from one birthday girl to another. That's right. Rochelle says, don't work. I don't drink herbal tea, diet pop, but water. Well, that's your decision. You know what it is about the water and what it can do for you. And Rochelle says, there was a huge buck in my driveway yesterday. That was unusual. See a lot of does, but not a buck. Okay. That was one of your hints. What does deer mean What does the male, a part of the species, the buck, mean? Your driveway. What direction is your driveway from your house? What direction were you looking at? You know, all of that you have to look, you have to consider. Okay? That's your research. That's your homework, Rochelle. Like I give out homework, right? Okay, the second thing that came to me about this card, Animal Guardian, is in here, what did they say? You have to look at the animal within. See if I can find that sentence. I'm sure there was a sentence here that said that. Animals are angels, support you on your spiritual journey, help you survive. When you connect with the energies of the animals, you can learn a lot about yourself and the earth. You also have an instinctive animal energy within that can direct you towards everything you need to know. Okay, so the animal within. Depending on your belief system, okay? There are many two-leggeds, many people who consider themselves separate from nature. That humans are not animals, that humans are separate from nature. And I guess, scientifically, that we are a higher evolved being than an animal, than a four-legged or a bird. We have a voice, we have opposable thumbs, that kind of stuff. And so some people place themselves ranked higher. Gosh, I keep getting these. Okay. So when we consider ourselves separate from nature, we're blocking the information that nature can give us. And I'm talking all of nature, even the ones some people don't believe in, like nature spirits, fairies, gnomes, right? That when we place ourselves separately, that we're missing out on some of the information that's possible. So wherever you're at in that belief, could be why you're missing some of the information or the hints coming to you. That when we don't believe or understand, don't remember that we are one of Grandmother Earth's children too. That we're missing out. We're missing out on some of the information, that energetic light language that comes through, that we block that then, coming from our relatives. Mm-hmm. So that animal within, that just means that we're part of nature, we're not separate from it. The biology, zoology, those field studies, they consider humans an apex predator. Apex predator. That's like a bear. It's like a wolf. Apex predator. So when you're considering that, right, is that you have to look at your belief system. And I would venture a guess that those that are here in the live chat and listening to the show, there's a part of you that believes that you are a part of nature, that you are a part of what Grandmother Earth, we're one of her children, right? Otherwise, chances are you wouldn't be listening to the show. Yeah, I just want to check something here. Yeah. All right. we're going to finish up because, well, I only got 5 minutes. The extended message. You have a powerful animal within that can be wild, can be protective, instinctive, and even calm. Animals don't get second guess how they feel. They just express it. And you can learn from that. When this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Take the time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. Let even the fiercest energy move through you before returning to your natural state. It will teach you a lot about your gifts and how you can grow. Okay, so this was the first card, Direction Guardian, choosing your path. The second card was Animal Guardian, trust your instincts. And so what I believe, what these two cards are telling us is that when we have a choice or a decision to make, when we're at those crossroads, is to one, follow your heart, allow your soul to lead. And if you need help, turn to your spiritual team, and also turn to the animal, our relatives, because we have the ability to turn to them for guidance, for assistance, helping us to make that decision, whatever that is, right? I think that's what this is about. And a lot of it is about trusting ourselves, trusting our own intuition, being grounded. Yay. That was good. I like that one. I like the conversation around it too. Thank you for being here with me and doing for this live stream. I appreciate it. I enjoy you guys being in the chat with me and being a part of the conversation, right? So anything and everything that we shared today, if it resonated with you, yay, grab it, embrace it, and notice how the energy unfolds for you for the rest of the day, or reflect on how it unfolded this morning for you, right? And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. No worries. You can just let it lie. It's all right. Perhaps you're the messenger. You can share the recorded video with a friend who may be looking for the information or would enjoy the conversation. You can do that. Yeah. And so I'm thinking we got some good things coming up for you next week. We've got Polly Joe's show on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. I was thinking it was the second Monday or the third Monday. It's the second Monday. We don't have shows on the second Monday. But we have on Tuesday, Polly Joe Chakra Sessions is at noon Eastern Time. And do I have, hang on, let me see. I do. Her show, whoops, is that? I'm going to scroll up. I can tell you what her show is going to be on Monday. Nope, I can't. That's the October one. Rats. I thought it was the November one. Shoot. Let me think. It's about the lymphatic system, her show, Polly Joe's show, and our emotions. And so the chakras and how that all relates. And that's at noon. So she'll be doing a guided meditation on that one too. And then we'll have this live stream in the afternoon about the card draw. And then Tuesday night, my weekly show, Communications from Home. My guest is Leslie Neshi. She's an animal communicator who also writes for the Star Nations magazine. She's going to be my guest along with George, my 3-month-old puppy. She's going to help us understand how new family members, when they join our family, how they adapt and acclimate, right, to the new family, and all kinds of other puppy concerns. We're going to be having a conversation about, so you can join us for that. And then on Wednesday is Polly Joe's back for Soul Connections, and that is an hour and a half of healing and divine messages. So you can join us then. It's at 7 p.m. Eastern, is Soul Connections. All right. So I just want to check messages quick here. I have to use my phone because I'm having a thing with my laptop next. All right. Okay. So thanks again, guys, for joining me for the live stream. And we'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, 3 Eastern for the daily live stream based on the card draw. With that, enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.